Hello, everyone. Greetings to the whole Life Prosper team. And today we have an interesting topic, and that topic is cannabis. Friends, maybe some of you know that I have more than 9 years of experience with cannabis. I was one of the most successful distributors for a cannabis company. I gave lectures all over Europe, did hundreds and thousands of webinars and trainings, and I saw how cannabis can change people's health. But at the same time, I have seen and still see the other side as well. How did the market get corrupted? How did something that was supposed to be a healing plant turn into a marketing business full of cheap isolates and fake products? That's why I decided that with Prosper, we will bring the truth back and not just offer for sale CBD, but clearly explain why the body needs it and what a true natural extract really means. The history. Hemp was here. In fact, hemp existed long before the development of medicines. If we look back to 1920, about 80% of prescription drugs in pharmacies actually contained hemp. Hemp is nothing new. Hemp was used 5,000 years ago. In China, India, Egypt, and Greece, doctors commonly utilized it for various issues such as pain, anxiety, digestion, and sleep. It was only in the 20th century that hemp was banned, and not because it was harmful, but because it was too effective, and for some people and for us, not patentable, right? It grows in nature, and after 60 years, a fundamental discovery was made: endocannabinoids, a new system. It turned out that hemp works because it supplements substances that our bodies cannot produce in sufficient quantities on their own. So the hemp market will continue to grow. In 2023, it was 5.4 billion, and the market is growing and will keep growing because hemp has already become a kind of new modern standard. When a lot of people ask, okay, is that marijuana? No, there are two types. So there's industrial hemp, hemp sativa, and then there's hemp indica. Most people know it as something bad, that if you take it, you get high and experience those psychoactive effects, but that's hemp indica. That's where the concentration is high. That's the psychoactive hemp. We have what is known as the psychoactive hemp from that, but from hemp sativa, which actually contains about 0.3% at most, so it is not considered psychoactive hemp, it can grow up to approximately 3 to 6 meters tall, whereas the classic Indian hemp variety never reaches such impressive heights. If you think about it like this, hemp has over 50,000 different uses. It has been used to make paper, various textiles, and biodegradable plastics, as well as natural shampoos and shower products. In Austria, there's even a company that manufactures building blocks from hemp, demonstrating its versatility. People who are allergic or who have trouble living in their current homes are now building specially designed allergy-friendly houses from hemp. Gasoline was made from hemp, medicines were made from hemp, and animal feed was produced from hemp. If you look here at its uses, why should we simply go into the forest and cut down all the trees just to make paper, when paper can be made from hemp? Banknotes were made from hemp, textiles, bedding, denim. I even have t-shirts, clothes, hoodies, and shoes at home that are made from hemp, and they are absolutely much better. They absorb well and don't smell. And compared to ordinary cotton, and cotton was also a main factor that started to push hemp out of the market. Hemp houses, biofuels, plastics are made from hemp. So you can see that this one plant has incredible uses. Simply put, if we look back the old hemp culture, in China, there's an area called Pama, where out of 10,000 inhabitants, only 4 get cancer. The main food for over 2,000 years has been hemp. They eat longevity soup with hemp, and all sorts of supplements, products, foods and drinks, cosmetics, medicines, building materials. They make paper from hemp. In this area, the Bama region, people live to be over 100 years old. The lady in the photo is 126 years old. Substances that have been identified in hemp, there have been to date a total of 1,269 different substances identified in hemp. These substances can generally be divided into two main groups: cannabinoids, which are specific and unique to hemp. They do not occur in other plants, and so far 144 of them have been identified. Among the other identified compounds, it is important to note that some of these may also be present in other plants, not just in this particular one, and so on. Such a wide and diverse range of these chemical substances is truly unique and remarkable. It is precisely this diversity that makes the effects of this plant so distinctive and noteworthy. So, with that in mind, let's move on to the main point. Every person is born with an endocannabinoid system. Each of us has it within our own body. It acts much like a control unit or even a central computer that helps to maintain balance. The endocannabinoid system influences and affects sleep, mood, immunity, stress, digestion, hormones, pain, and more. In this way, it continues to play a role in many other important aspects of our health and well being. If we look back about 80 or 90 years ago, animal feed was made from hemp. So normally, when people went to the supermarket and bought chicken, beef, or pork, those cannabinoids were already present in the meat. But cannabinoids disappeared from the food chain, and 80 or 90 years ago, hardly anyone really knew what cancer was. There weren't so many people with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and there weren't so many autistic children. Nowadays, a lot of people have a lot of problems, and it has been proven that this is the cause. By the lack of cannabinoids in our bodies and so on. One scientist, as well as Dr. Lumir Hanush, also conducted studies in Israel for several years, and they found that we have so-called receptors in our bodies. They were investigating why, when a person uses marijuana, there are psychoactive effects, and they discovered that we have certain receptors in our bodies, which they named CB1 receptors. And what about CB2 receptors? Well, we have CB1 receptors mainly in the brain and nervous system. CB2 receptors are found in organs and the immune system, and the body produces its own cannabinoids called endocannabinoids. For example, one of them is the molecule of happiness. But modern life, stress, alcohol, poor diet, and toxins cause our bodies to be unable to produce enough of them. If we didn't take in vitamin C, what would happen? None of us would exist. Just like we supplement vitamin C, whether it's through some fruit and so on, we also need to supplement those cannabinoids. And when they're missing in our bodies, the system simply breaks down, gets out of balance, and anxiety, fatigue, and inflammation arise. Insomnia, and that's why we need to supplement them from the hemp plant. What happens is simple. When you supplement cannabinoids, you activate this entire system completely. And the body starts to self-regulate, bringing itself back into balance, what's called homeostasis. And that's very important because it means the nervous system relaxes, internal stress decreases, sleep improves, as well as digestion and regeneration. The body regains its ability to function the way it simply should. That's what it's all about. An exceptional, unique plant in the world that can do this. Just imagine. It's like an orchestra without a conductor, right? Okay, everyone is playing something different. And the endocannabinoid system is that conductor who brings order to the chaos. It creates harmony and everything starts to play beautifully and blend together. And cannabinoids are its instruments. So the endocannabinoid system is the largest self-regulating system in our body. It ensures communication between the brain and your organs, controls homeostasis, cognitive functions, and maintains the balance of your mood and appetite. It maintains the balance of your sleep and immune system, helps in the fight against aging, and everywhere you read about longevity. This is the first fundamental thing you need to do if you want to enjoy life longer. Activate it. They saw the blue zone, and there people really use Instagram and talk about longevity and who knows what else. For them, longevity simply means taking cannabinoids every single day. Skin problems, low vitality, it maintains the balance of your hormone production, your hormonal system. And when someone asks me, Juraj, can pregnant women use it too? Cannabinoids used to be part of the food chain. The answer for all of you is yes, everyone can. because every pregnant woman, and since even the meat they ate contained cannabinoids, whether they knew it consciously or not, they consumed these cannabinoids, and the endocannabinoid system begins to form at the very start of fetal development. And it is very important for the development of children. Well, then, so what are these cannabinoids? The endocannabinoid system is basically like a lock, and when you insert cannabinoids, cannabinoids are like a key, and simply, if you put the key in the car and start it, it just begins to run. We need to supply cannabinoids to unlock the endocannabinoid system so that our body can return to balance and simply start functioning properly again. As I mentioned, up until 1920, 80% of medicines were made from hemp. The question is, why aren't medicines made from hemp anymore? That was one of the reasons. This slide explains why Prosper also decided to focus on absolute quality and to show the big difference between isolates and broad spectrum oils, and so on. Absolute extract. Now, this is actually a very important thing. CBD is not just CBD, people. I sold hemp for over 8 years, and in the end, I found out that the company that produced it made it from powder. As you can see here, it's basically like white chalk. It tastes, and in 99% of cases, it's similar. Does it have anything to do with nature? It's an artificially separated powder. It's cheap, but it doesn't contain other cannabinoids or terpenes, so it lacks potency. That's why most people say, I tried CBD, but it didn't work for me, and I'm pissed off. People, that's the reality. You know, it's just like when you go to an orchestra and the conductor isn't there. You need other musical instruments there too, so the music can play the way it's supposed to. And it's also impossible to start a car if you don't have any gasoline. Unfortunately, 99% those CBD products are made only from isolate, so they're cheap. Yes, because it wasn't hemp, it was isolate. That's why it didn't work. That's why 100 people simply didn't feel any effect. And if you compare it, this is our extract. It's a full extract. There are also broad spectrum versions, which are a slightly better version containing more compounds, but the THC is removed from them and they work, but still not completely. What we do is we simply have the complete spectrum of all cannabinoids and terpenes, including the legal amount of THC. And when all these compounds are together, what's created is the so-called entourage effect. This synergy, where each compound amplifies the effect of the other, it's like one player can't do much alone, but when they play together, the body feels it immediately, right? We don't sell any of those anonymous substances in her favor. But if you consider that hemp contains a full 144 different cannabinoids, but if you take a product made from powder with isolated substances contains one cannabinoid at 99% and maybe trace amounts of 2 or 3 other cannabinoids at most. The effect isn't there, it's weak, it's a chemical process, simply put, and chemically processed. If I ever encountered such a process in my life, I would never buy such an anonymous oil, and it lacks any synergistic effect. And then these people simply sell it and write various percentages on it. We have this much and that much percent extract. When I see someone making, I don't know, a 30% extract, a 25% one, or even some claiming 40%, that's just a lie. If you saw the real extracts, I can tell you that starting from a 15% extract, the extract is like a paste. Theirs is always liquid. It's just a huge lie. And so, um, we don't sell any anonymous oils for profit. We grow our own hemp on our certified fields in the EU, where the plants grow naturally without pesticides or chemical fertilizers. We select varieties with the richest cannabinoid and terpene profiles. Not the ones that yield the highest profit, but the ones that provide the greatest strength and effect. That's the difference between us and other companies. Every plant is harvested by hand and processed using gentle extraction methods, only at human body temperature at most, so that we preserve the full life of the plant. All the cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, nothing is lost. Basically, nothing is lost. We are fundamentally against isolates and against artificial extracts. We do everything simply straight from nature. No white powder, no laboratory substitute. The reason our products are not called absolute extract is because they are absolutely natural, absolutely full spectrum, and absolutely effective. And that's exactly why they are among the 4 purest in the entire European Union. This is not just marketing, this is a real standard. With our extraction process, we have managed to extract over 40 different cannabinoids and terpenes, which work together to deliver the strongest therapeutic and synergistic effects. Let me put it this way. Compared to isolate, it is 6 to 10 times more effective than isolated cannabinoids and similar substances. We truly utilize the full potential of the cannabis plant. Then this is an example of what it looks like. Basically, this is how it shouldn't look when you take it like this. I anonymously downloaded some lab tests that are officially available, and when someone shows a lab test like this, you can see that 99% of it is just a cannabis extract. So it's from isolate, from a slab, and there are only small trace amounts of other cannabinoids, and there's no entourage effect here. Such a cannabis plant does not exist. With a profile like this, when we look, for example, at another one of his, I don't know, it's some kind of extract, which was made, it has over 4,000 or 4,500 milligrams of cannabis. So those are cannabinoids, but it's really nothing, and it's just by itself. Thanks to trace elements, okay, there's not even any THC here. So what is this? Basically, what they did was they made a strong extract, put a lot of isolate powder in it, but this is not the way. This is what our extract looks like, from which we make our hemp products. As I said, there are several cannabinoids here and about 34 other terpenes, which are also very important for the additional synergistic effects of this product. At the same time, you can compare those differences in our laboratory test. And so just as you need water, minerals, omega-3, and vitamin C every day, your body also needs cannabinoids. Not as a medicine, but as nutrition for the endocannabinoid system. The recommended dose is about 50 milligrams per day so that the endocannabinoid system remains active. Cannabinoids are stored in tissues and have long-lasting effects, which is why. And it's not enough to take it once in a while. Regularity is balance. I personally use hemp, one of our products, 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, to keep my endocannabinoid system active. You can also find this recommendation on our products. Why should you simply use hemp every single day? Let me put it this way. Let's be completely clear about this. This is not a product just for the sick. This is a supplement for every single person, even for small children. I give it to my son, who is 3 years old. I've been giving it to him since he was very little. My wife used it when she was pregnant. People with cancer use it. Top athletes use it. And people who aren't sick at all use it too. It's about lifestyle, okay? Uh, And keep in mind, the body can't produce cannabinoids in sufficient amounts. It can only make a limited amount. These are called endocannabinoids. But stress, toxins, lack of sleep, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and medications, all of these slow down this production process. As a result, the endocannabinoid system, which is supposed to regulate balance in the body, starts to malfunction. When you don't give it fuel, the body starts to lose control and balance, just like if you stopped putting gas in a car. The car will run for a little while, but eventually the engine will seize up. The body has hundreds of systems: digestive, nervous, respiratory, hormonal, immune. But above all of them, there is one main system, the endocannabinoid system. It is the one that controls everything. It's the one It decides whether the body will function in balance or in stress. If your endocannabinoid system is activated, you sleep better, digest better, recover faster, you're calmer, and your immunity is stronger. If it's not activated, the body goes into chaos. Because of the 5 types of inflammation, that's exactly why activating the endocannabinoid system is the most important thing you can simply do for your body. This is not a trendy accessory, it's a biological necessity, just like you would die without vitamin C. Without an activated endocannabinoid system, the body can't maintain that balance. That's why we say that our products are absolutely not medicine, but a daily foundation of health, something every person needs every day, without exception. And now imagine if you did this every day. With endocannabinoids, the system lived in balance, experienced less stress, and was free from inflammation, pain, and depression. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a completely new standard of living, and that's exactly the benefit AV simply brings. And so, if we look back at the beginning, we actually launched our products with Diahem, and honestly, if you look at Freescale, this is a product you're supposed to open in the morning and feel that you're alive. It's absolute. A full spectrum hemp oil with mint extract. But it's not just any ordinary aroma, it's simply an extract of mint and an extract of hemp, HellMed, and it helps with digestion, fresh breath, concentration, and at the same time has a calming effect on the stomach and nerves on the gastrointestinal system. Clinical studies have shown that spearmint, which is in there, can improve memory and attention. It reduces fatigue and even helps with stress-related digestion. And when we combine it with hemp, the result is a clear mind, a calm stomach, and more energy. That's why this product is the number one thing I take in the morning. It's a morning restart for both body and mind, and I feel incredible energy, which is so they eat it, but this is a product that every adult should have at home. It's an extract from hemp and an extract from cinnamon. Cinnamon is not just a root, it's a natural regulator of blood sugar and blood pressure. At lunchtime, I take this product because each of these products contains a hemp extract, which is sufficient. If you take just one dropper, you'll have exact instructions on how to use it, so it's enough to keep the endocannabinoid system active according to clinical studies. They show that cinnamon helps maintain normal blood sugar levels. Normal blood sugar levels. It improves the sensitivity of cells to insulin and supports the regulation of fatty acid metabolism. In combination with hemp, that synergistic effect and natural protector of your metabolism reduces internal inflammation, helps the liver, and maintains your energy throughout the day. Top notch. And I'm not a doctor, and I give this to someone who has diabetes and let them measure their blood sugar every single day after using this product. Number 3 is Rest Well. It's an extract from hemp and an extract from hops. In fact, hops is a cousin of hemp, and this is for evening calm, but you don't have to take it only in the evening. If you have depression, stress, or anxiety during the day, you can use it then as well. It doesn't have a weird taste. Okay, it's like beer, but a strong plant extract is known for helping to relax nerves, reduce tension, and prepare the brain, and if the body needs it, for deep sleep. Clinical studies confirm that in combination, and plant compounds shorten the time it takes to fall asleep and improve sleep quality. And when you combine it with a hemp extract, that synergy gives you a product that can naturally shut down both your body and mind without chemical drugs, without antidepressants, and without side effects. I take Rest Well in the evening, especially when I still have training and need to fully wind down to have a calm night and restful sleep, and it provides excellent recovery. All our extracts do this. F Restart, that is Rest Well. They are full spectrum, absolutely no pills, no isolates. These are 100% natural extracts, which means they contain all the natural cannabinoids. Believe me, which together create what is called, as I mentioned, the entourage effect. That is a natural enhancement of the effect. That's why we decided to make 3 more hemp products. not just hemp, but also other herbs, which together with hemp further increase their effectiveness. We use certified oil to ensure everything is absorbed quickly. One of the most expensive and highest quality oils you can get. Each product helps activate your endocannabinoid system, and when that works, the body simply comes into balance. That's why I recommend it for starting your morning for energy, digestion, blood sugar, and protection. Rest well for sleep and regeneration, morning, noon, and night, and your body will function as it should. But all of this is about balance. Nature gave us the hemp plant, science gave us an understanding of the endocannabinoid system, and technology, like our scanners and the app we have, allows for precise application. The product at the moment and what is needed is not just a company, not just products, but a new system for the 21st century, one that combines nature, science, and technology. This truly is the future of health. And in addition to these products, we would also like to mention we have launched pure hemp extracts, the so-called Plus and Premium. In this one, there are 2,400 milligrams of hemp. There are also other cannabinoids in there, over 40 different cannabinoids and terpenes, and we also have the premium product. And I'd like to add one more thing. When you start using hemp, give it at least a week, and I recommend 2 to 3 weeks of regular use. Don't forget or take it just once a day. This bottle is meant to last for 1 month. So take it in the morning, at noon, and in the evening, and then again the next day, morning, noon, and evening. After 2 or 3 weeks, you'll see that your endocannabinoid system will kick in and get activated, and things like sleep and other issues will simply start to improve. I'm not saying that hemp will cure everyone and everything. If you look, there are billions of studies about hemp, literally billions. What does it help with? You can buy a book, you'll find hemp. Well, I mean, as much hemp as you want. It's a big book that you can buy, and okay. And again, there you'll find answers to various questions you might have when you look up hemp. On the internet, you can basically find information about every disease and how hemp simply helps. But as I said, hemp won't save everything and everyone. If someone is sick or, I don't know, going for chemotherapy, then use it either before. If you didn't manage that, then during and after, okay? And for sure, some things will improve. It's simply hemp. Over the last 9 years, I could talk about it here today. I've just seen so much for such a long time. Thousands, tens of thousands. Hemp is an amazing experience. It simply helped those people. Even my little one had lymphatic system cancer. She didn't take anything else, and after a while, it turned out it was just the hemp I sent her regularly every month. And she didn't have any side effects from chemotherapy. I have to knock on wood. Right now, she's completely healthy. She's fine. I don't know what would have happened if she hadn't used hemp. I saw in America a 5-year-old girl from Mexico who had an epileptic seizure every 2 to 3 minutes every day. 19 doctors, especially from America, gave her thousands of different pills to reduce those seizures, but nothing helped, only hemp. And when I went to a lecture in Arizona to one company, well, there were specialists there, and the girl was there too. She said that she has been using hemp and that she hasn't had a single epileptic seizure in the last 2 months. And she told everyone, and we can't cure everyone, but we can help a huge number of people. So don't tell people that we're selling a cure because that's not true. Ask them, that your body has a system that needs cannabinoids, and most products on the market are isolates, but we use pure natural extract. You know what, Jano? Have you already activated your endocannabinoid system, which is the most important system in our body? Let me tell you what that is, okay? Here is a product that really activates it. It's not a trend, it's biology, the endocannabinoid system. What if someone told you that CBD didn't help them, and let's say they simply tried an isolate, not hemp? That's all from me. Greetings, and I wish you a wonderful and